You there, Ragnaros player. Are you tired of not having any agency over the game unlike those other top tier bruisers like Dehaka, Hogger, Leoric, maybe Blaze even? Well, I'm here to tell you that there's a glimmer of hope for our Firelord, as he can take control over a team fight in a way those heroes cannot. How so? Molten Core. It's all in your tray. I have 9 tips to share with you today to give you ideas on how to utilize this incredible ability to its full potential. Without further ado,
One more thing, Eugene, give me that. If I ever find one of these lying around again, I swear to fucking God, I will stop being so polite. Get the fuck out of my sight before I demolish you.
the first of many tips in improving your Ragnaros Molten Cores is making sure you pick Sulfuras Smash over Lava Wave. A big reason is, A, if you Molten Core, you can use your Sulfuras Smash from range. On this game, I'm currently off-laning, taking mercenary camps, split pushing, gathering XP, teams on the other side of the map. You know, very pitch standard off-laner duty types. Right now, I figure, hey, I'm currently going mid lane, and I'm in position for the fort here. There's a fight going on top lane. Maybe it progresses to the bridge. And I know on Dragonshire, if you Molten Core this fort, you have all of mid lane, you have all of bot lane, and then you can reach the bridge from here, which is a pretty good tip to know. So, with that in mind, I start to supersize. So, the enemy team is not yet in range, so I decide to drop a rotation onto the mini wave, influence it from there. I see the Grey Mane overstep, and I execute him because he was not paying attention to my radii. I accidentally score a kill on Asmodent, completely unintentional. I was just going for the Grey Mane, and I would have been very pleased with that kill. But I got both. Why? So first smash. Had I, used a regular meteor shower and explosive rune, it would not have been enough to kill them, especially with the case that Deckard is right next to them with a potion. So if you don't kill them right away, they live. But with the first smash, you instantly end them. And that is one of many examples on why Sulfuras Smash scores you kills in Molten Core, and you having Lava Wave, well, it's not going to do you much now, is it? And besides, as the offlaner, I'm already influencing the map. I'm able to rotate quicker than usual because of Molten Coring mid lane fort especially. And then you use Sulfuras Smash in a semi-global capacity. The great part about Molten Core is the fact that Ragnaros can set up his own CC to follow up Sulfuras Smash. You see, Molten Swing has a 1 second stun duration on it, which is perfect for Sulfuras Smash's 3/4 of a second delay. Enemies walk up to you, you swing on them, you drop the hammer, it kills them. It just works. Right now, we're besieging the enemy keep right now. Objective is running out. They do a pretty good hold here. We lost 2 of our team members just now, so I'm just staying in the Molten Core to do as much chip damage as I can to the enemy fort before I'm out of here. And then I pressed Q because Kael'thas walked up and he was in vision. He kind of looked like he was ready to right-click, and then he walks back into range. And then I accidentally tagged the Rainer. And they both instantly die. You cannot have done those kills without having Sulfuras Smash, and if you have Lava Wave, once again. Now, I have Heroic Difficulty, which is the reason why they die from full health, but regardless, without Sulfuras Smash, you still can't make that kill. Especially with the fact that a Stukov is right next to them. That is definitely something. Now, you might say, okay, it was their mistake. Well, I guess. But they're full health. Like, 2 of my teammates just died. They're full health. They're gonna try to stop the Molten Core, shred away its health so it burns down and it doesn't do more damage to the keep. In my opinion, that is the correct play. They just, didn't think that a single Molten Swing would have led to their deaths right away, especially with a Stukov presence to give them healing. So it's just something Ragnaros can do, and if you misstep even once, you will die. And you cannot have done that without Sulfuras Smash. One of the most important things as Ragnaros, when it comes to Sulfuras Smash and Molten Core by extension, is to look for things that you can combo with on your team. Ragnaros has immense amounts of area effect damage. He is a great wombo combo payoff because he brings the damage. You just need a team that can bring the CC. In our case, we have a Frost Blast Kel'Thuzad, we have a potential Devouring Maw from Zagara. In this case, she has Nidus Network, so that's not in play. This is one of my favorite combos. Blessed Shield from Joanna. Joanna as a whole is great with Ragnaros. She Blessed Shield, you can suffer a smash. She pulls people together, you can suffer a smash. And lastly, the wild card factor is Whitemaine's Judgment Day at level 20. This pulls everybody together on the first instance of damage that they suffer with her heroic ability. So that's a pretty good thing. Right now, I am posturing around mid lane. I do not know where the enemy team is. So I stay around mid because I am paranoid. There is a Tyrael running about with Judgment. So in my mind, I'm scared out of my mind. Zagara goes up here to check on the Bruiser camp and put down some creep. Unfortunately, she gets engaged upon by a Alarak double reset plus judgment combo that was quite unfair, I'm not gonna lie. But I'm already putting in a Molten Core because I see what the situation of the fight is turning out. Joanna responds with a Blessed Shield, and this is what happens. When the enemy team initiates, there's going to be a situation in that they have to come together to deal the damage, and now that the target is dead, they have to reposition and scatter. This is a momentary weakness. Counter engages in this game are very effective, and suddenly Joanna that came from the side puts down a Blessed Shield. Now they're all stunned in place. This is a level 20 Blessed. We have a Kel'Thuzad root coming in, and I'm already in Molten Core. I start dropping my abilities. And we drop everything, including the Whitemain ultimate as well. And just like that, they get incinerated in an instant. And that includes a full health Tyrael, which is not a low health target whatsoever. So look for opportunities to combo your abilities with your team in order to get the most out of your area of effect damage. In the last example, we saw what happens when you pick Molten Core into a team with a wombo combo where you've got these big ultimates and you drag everybody together. It's a huge saturation of enemies. Well, sometimes it's a lot better to just do things in the more simpler way and you just look for any amounts of CC from your team. What's on my team? I got Rel W, I got Anduin Light Bomb and Roots, I got Vala R, but the R is quite short duration, so it's not very good. Black Hole and Force Wall, and then myself for Molten Core, Q Stun. So that is all the setup there is for Molten Core Sulfuras Smash combo. Let's see what happens here. We're preparing to get the defense. I am watching the Urel right now, and he calls that he wants to kill the Stukov here. And I wait patiently for the stun to go off, and then successful kill right afterwards. Plus, that was a negative 15 armor from Templar's Verdict, which made that hit even harder, which is pretty cool. You don't need grandiose combos, you just need to wait for 1 second that they stand still because of any forms of CC, because in Molten Core, you're not stressed for your positioning, you're watching the game like a spectator. You can just wait for things to happen and then capitalize on them right away because you have range of everything. And if it's in your domain, you're able to punish right away. So look for small amounts of CC on your team, figure out how to utilize that, and go from there.
A wizard is never late, Frodo Baggins. Nor is he early. He arrives precisely when he means to.
Here is a very interesting game. Right now, we kill the Orphea, and we are going over to the enemy side of the map to steal the mercenary camp. We see the enemy team start to come out at mid, and then, hey, free camp, no problem. Let's take it, and then maybe go back to the shrine. At the offlaner, I'm taking out the minions here, whilst the team is doing camp, so that we generate a little bit of pressure. That's very good. And then the call is to go back to objective to do it. But then, very smartly, by the tank player, Battletag here, who's playing Garrosh, he sees that the enemy team is starting to appear up here, and he proactively moves into position. This is a great call. We have a flanking opportunity. The enemy team is away from their fort. It's a 5v4 advantage if we start the fight, and currently they're all together. Like, this will be very disastrous. But look at what I'm doing. I am slow to the read. I thought, hey, maybe the fight's going to occur mid lane, or maybe it's going to occur somewhere in the jungle. So I decided to go down to mid fort to Molten Core this. Granted, I am playing heroic difficulty. I am playing W build. So my close range presence is unnecessary. I should be playing from afar. So I'm playing around my Molten Core exclusively. I'm not thinking about going in. But I decide to go down here. Look at this. The engage is good. Enemy team is separated. And I am so late to the ball. I am 8 or 10 seconds late to this Molten Core. And now that I finally supersize, I land a very good combo, but it was not enough to kill. Had I been in position already, I would have been peltering them with abilities. This would be like my second or third ability rotation whilst in Molten Core. But it's not, because I was so late to the Molten Core. You have to be in position preemptively, and I thought that I trusted my gut instincts, which was to go mid lane and Molten Core this. But there was new information. The enemy team showed here, and our team immediately started repositioning and taking advantage of this new information. I did not. I was slow to the information. And this meant that I was late to the core, and we failed to kill him. And now the Orphea is alive. And for my transgressions, we don't kill them. And because of that, the game is going to last another 4 agonizing minutes. Had I been using my abilities, we probably could have killed 1, 2, maybe 3 heroes. We just end the game right here and there, because that was a very favorable fight for us. But because of my mispositioning, we don't kill them, and the game now gets very dicey. I dropped the ball hard. To avoid this kind of problem, you need to be thinking ahead of time, where do you want a multi-core? What is the most likely scenario? And then you also need to have a backup plan just in case the team decides to change plans. Because I totally agree with them. This was a great fight to take. And I was already in position, really. I just decided to go down here, and then I turned around rather than hovering around the fog of war. So this was a huge blunder on my part.
Everything the light touches is our kingdom.
Wow. And this'll all be mine?
Everything.
Everything the light touches.
One of the most important features about Molten Core is the fact that it has tremendous range. You know, this is kind of obvious so far, but I don't see a lot of Ragnaroses use that to its full potential. They might use the full range when fighting against other players, no problem, but they don't use the Molten Core's splendid range to take out things aside from whatever's in their lane. So when I Molten Core here, obviously I'm going to use it to take out this Bruiser camp here, but one of the key features about this is I can use this Molten Core to accelerate this Bruiser camp here as well. On Sky Temple or Dragonshire, if the enemy team captures the top Bruisers a little bit too quickly, you can counter this by dropping the Molten Core, very easily clearing it out. And as soon as this Mage Knight goes out, I start blasting this camp here. And this accelerates the process significantly. Now we'll be able to take out this camp with good speed, and I didn't spend any health or any mana in the process of eliminating this Bruiser camp, which means within the next 30 seconds, I'm more than ready to take either or Shrine here. And a lot of maps have mercenaries close by to where you've Molten Core. So when you're done clearing this out, you can go ahead, start clearing out this Bruiser camp. Obviously, you need some team members to go here so that it doesn't reset its aggro. But if there are no Bruiser camps, if the map is tight enough, like Tomb of the Spider Queen, a mid-fort Molten Core can not only affect mid lane, it can also affect top lane at the same time. And you can double dip your Molten Core's value to affect multiple lanes at once. Every map's mid-keep will always be able to affect all 3 lanes. So if you need to do a Hail Mary defend or make sure that not all the waves are crashing into your towers with full force, doing a Molten Core mid-keep, and then dropping 1 rotation of abilities on all lanes is more than enough to clear it out because of its massive damage and modifier against minions/mercenaries.
A deadly high-speed pursuit between police and armed gunmen is underway traveling northbound on San Pablo Avenue.
Yeah, I've got time.
Here's a match of me on Altaric Pass. The situation is as follows. Right now, we just won a team fight, and the Muradin and Rhaegar are currently dead. The objective is up, and we decide to go over and capture it. We have spare time to set up the objective and do other things on the map. As the offlaner, you want to use your spare time to fix the map and fix lanes. Right now, I want to clear out this mid lane wave, but before I do so, I go take a quick drink from the fountain, clear it out. It's very important that you clear out the waves that are adjacent to the objective. This way you have advanced forewarning and vision on enemies that might be moving in, and this will funnel them through paths of your desire. On alternate paths especially, what ends up happening is if you have minions pushed up here, they must funnel through this choke point of death to reach the objective, or through down here through the mud, which is equally not as good. By having the minions here, we can make sure that they do not flank through this route, which gives us a prime advantage in defending the objective. Now, after I clear out mid lane wave, I have a decision to make. Do I wait around and posture with my team, or do I go top lane to get that XP? Well, you know I'm greedy, so of course I go ahead and go to top lane, but I also have something that I know. I have Molten Core, and Molten Core allows me to accelerate how quickly I can get into position in order to influence the fight. I don't have to be here in person. I have an excellent Molten Core position. Mid lane on Altaric Pass is the most important lane for Ragnaros because it has full coverage over this objective or this objective. You basically reach into the entire arena. So I start clearing out mid lane wave, and as soon as I hear the arrow go, I decide to show up to the fight by Molten Coring. And now the objective is all but assured. They cannot capture it because I can continually interrupt them. I look for an opportunity with Sulfuras Smash, and what do you know? It's prime real estate.
You picked the wrong house, fool!
We are currently on Dragonshire, and I'm just in the off lane doing my own thing. I'm challenging the Deathwing to a duel here. And I win the duel, which leads to top lane shrine control to me. I'm just minding my own business, you know, doing my thing, controlling the map, whatever. And then all of a sudden, the enemy team gets the brazen idea to invade your siege camp. And right now, this is quite a dicey situation. This is bad for several reasons in that Deathwing has rotation speed advantage. He's a global hero. He can fly up in the air, and then he can land anywhere around here. Plus, Deathwing is very good at controlling mercenary camps because he's unstoppable, and if he lands on the siege camp, it is for certain theirs. So we have to intercept as quickly as we can. My rotation reaction is relatively decent. However, it's about to become a 4v5 momentarily when Deathwing lands, so I need to get here as quickly as I can. Now, I contemplated whether or not I wanted to use Molten Core right away on the fort. I did not, because the fight was kind of stabilizing, it was migrating this way, and we're kind of taking control of it. Plus, I had an advantageous angle of attack. I'm coming from the rear, I'm about to attack a squishy Sylvanas, the tank is with me, all is well. And then all of a sudden, the Deathwing decides to land. Deathwing chooses to chase me off. I cannot win against this Deathwing, especially since this is a destroyer build Deathwing. So right now, I'm forced away from the fight, and they're about to continue the onslaught. I immediately choose to use Molten Core onto the fort here in order to do a repel. Now that they've committed to this mercenary camp, they are forced to stick around even when they're low health. And I have complete reach to attack anyone that I want to in the back line. Sylvanas goes down. Alaric is next to follow. And the reach is so big, we even get the Aurel on the retreat. Invading any location that's nearby a Ragnaros fort, and you are forced to stay because of an objective or because of a camp, is very dangerous because of what happens here. When you're running, you just get pelted with lots of meters, which deal maximum damage, by the way, because you get hit by 3 in a line rather than just 1 if you're standing still, which makes it even more dangerous. Ragnaros has a big advantage when defending home territory. Another thing, every map has something near a fort. Usually it's your allied mercenary camp in this example. Sometimes it's the objective on Altaric Pass like what we just saw. But when Ragnaros is currently in Molten Core form, and you have it available to go for that matter, you can use it to repel an invasion. So you have the rotation speed and either reaching the fort first, or you can choose to do it. In my case, I did it after there was nothing better to do. Now this fight leads us to capturing bot lane Shrine. We get the mid lane objective, and this was very, very favorable for us. So, yeah, Ragnaros is really good at defending against invasions. Sometimes the game is hard. And sometimes the only way you can win a lost game as Ragnaros is not by outmuscling them with your numbers. You must use a pivotal Molten Core. And this is definitely his most defining feature. Now, we managed to hit level 20 just before this siege has begun. We got the objective, we have all 5 enemy heroes alive, and they're pushing. This is a very scary situation. So I'm activating Molten Core in order to deal damage to the objective, deal damage to the enemy team, poke them a little bit. That was a very bad Sulfuras smash. I disregarded my own rule number 2. Wait for combos, wait for CC, wait for stuns, wait for your own Molten Swing to connect. Maybe you get a kill, and because of that, we don't get a kill. But it did its job. Molten Core was used to save the keep. And right now, the keep is still standing. And even though we're down 1, we're able to hold because this keep is alive. Had it gone down, there's a chance to go for core. So, yeah. But yeah, that heroic difficulty is very, very important. More health, so it lasts longer. More damage, so you deal more damage. It also leads to kill combos later on. I'll describe that later. And the cooldown is halved. You go from 120 seconds down to 70 second cooldown. And even though I just used it mid lane to defend against this Punisher, guess what? Exactly 75 seconds later, I am using it again in the bot lane defense. The enemy team is quickly approaching upon our team. Rhaegar gets caught out of position, he dies. You don't need Molten Core for that, but it's just for safe measure if they decide to keep going. And yeah, we use the Molten Core, we clear out the waves, not a problem. And then we chase after them, but that's not really important. We're finding our ground. The Rhaegar dead, we're pushing. We catch an Orphea. And then I want both of these forts gone so that I can Molten Core them later. A flanking Molten Core is pivotal. It can win you the game that would otherwise been lost. Now, I also want you to point out another thing. The time clock shows 2029. At 2030, Molten Core is going to be off cooldown. It is now ready to be used. Which means, had I not gone heroic difficulty, that means by add 50 seconds to this, that is 21 minutes and 20 seconds. That's when it should come back naturally. But I picked up heroic difficulty. Words cannot stress how important that cooldown reduction is. I'm not going to describe what happens here, but a fight will break out here. Let's see here. Right now. Time clock, 21:09. Had I not gone heroic difficulty, I would not be able to cast Molten Core, my most important ability as the Ragnaros build that I'm currently playing as. I would still be twiddling my thumbs for another 10 seconds waiting for my best ability. But because I have heroic difficulty, I have it ready to go. So this is the third Molten Core in a row that has occurred. Nothing comes out of it, I'm afraid, because of other reasons. I will describe that later. And then here we go after objective. Blah, 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 blah. We lose it. Not good. We got problems. I attempt to kill on Tychus and I miss. I was a little bit nervous there. But right now we made good progress on the skull count. We are currently 28 out of 40. My tray is on cooldown. I'm just killing the waves. And then I choose to go Molten Core here. And then I have good reach into the pit here. I'm about halfway through. And I'm waiting for a second round of abilities. I drop it. And I stole the objective. Literally 70 seconds ago, I used the Molten Core, and now I had it ready to go again. I used it again. My lord. Had I not gotten heroic difficulty, you can't do that. And instead of them having objective, pushing our damaged wall with 2 people dead. And if you didn't go heroic difficulty, you also wouldn't be ready for the defense. This Punisher is now going into their keep. Nothing comes from it, but we saved ourselves a big source of problems. I was bold to use this Molten Core to steal the skulls away. It was completely impossible for me to walk up and do it myself, but I could do it from range safely, and I stole the objective. Excellent value. This is the power of heroic difficulty. And you're going to see a few more clips from this game as well. It was absolutely epic. More on that later.
I've learnt from Palpatine. I show you the stone in my hand, you miss the knife at your throat.
Alrighty, here is a new game. So the game state is very bad. Team is kind of dead. Enemy team has more kills than us. They have more forts than us. They've been ahead of us in XP the whole game until now, where we're finally 23-23, but even that's about to slip away. And right now we're on the back foot trying to get out of a sticky situation where the enemy team has invaded our camp. And right now they're starting to overcommit. They're lusting for another bonus kill. Garrus gets out. I choose to use Molten Core now. And just like that, you kill a 90% health Alrek, and you almost decimate the Tychus. The only reason he lived is because he has bonus armor from being stunned. And even then, the Tychus came shortly thereafter to clean up house. But that is what the combo can do. With heroic difficulty, you can kill people that are not paying attention. In this case, the enemy team had a false sense of security. They won the fights. Our boys are routing. We used ultimates. They're going over here to clear out the camp. And for a brief second, they clumped. And in that brief second where they felt safe, they immediately die. You cannot understate just how important it is to target enemies that are not paying attention. This is another reason why I don't like to pester enemies that I plan to kill with a meteor, because that alerts them that I'm looking at them and they're going to start dodging. Ideally, you want to drop the whole combo like instantaneously, like right after the meteor hits for a quick slow to further guarantee you landing Sulfuras Smash and Explosive Rune, but I digress. You want to kill somebody that is not paying attention. And there are many opportunities where people will be focused onto something else. They're trying to kill your teammates. They're trying to get away. They're trying to engage. They're not paying attention, really. This is yet another example where you kill people just by looking at them. Okay, picture this. The whole enemy team is dead. You hit level 20. You're assaulting the enemy core. You pick up heroic difficulty at level 20. I mean, what is there to say? Like, the game's over. But I have Sulfuras Smash. And then look at this. I see a little Junkrat on my minimap. And just pan over my camera, see what he's up to. Oh my. And he's dead. Why? Because he had the audacity of standing within my radii right here. He's just clearing waves, you know, he's checked out mentally, the game's over, you know, hey, why not? And then just because he was accidentally within my radii, I decide, hey, you know what? I see him standing still for a split second. That's my cue to go on to him. He just vaporizes instantly. Granted, this is not the best example of Ragnaros' capabilities. We are at a 3-level lead. That 12% health and damage modifier is really putting a lot of legwork here, but this is a real thing that can happen. Against a lower echelon of heroes where their health bars are very small, think of Junkrat, Vala, Whitemane, Jaina Proudmoore, Orphea. These squishy heroes, they rely them on being far away from the battle and using their very strong abilities. If you're in Molten Core form, you have so much reach. Like, if you see them, you can kill them. You really can. Granted, it is necessary that you have heroic difficulty, and Sulfuras Smash is obviously a very big part of it, but this is a real thing that Ragnaros can do. He can apply tremendous amounts of pressure onto the enemy backline. And all you have to do is wait for them to not pay attention to Ragnaros for literally 1 second, and this Junkrat is dead. This could be an Ana sitting down to snipe. This could be a Ariel coming out of Aegis. This could be Alarak stopping to press his counter-strike. Maybe Junkrat's using his ultimates. No matter what the case is, Ragnaros has exceptional reach, and he can find those targets in the backline. If they ever forget about you, if they ever stop to do something, you can kill them. You really can. I chose this example because this is absolutely hilarious. I'm sorry, Junkrat, but I gave a flagrant amount of disrespect. Anyways, onto a more productive example. On Garna Terror here, right now both teams are currently 2 out of 3 objectives. Forgive the replay bug. Both teams have 2 out of 3 seats necessary for the objective, and it's about to spawn momentarily, maybe in the next 5 seconds. We don't know where the enemy team is, but we had hunches that they should be somewhere bot lane because we have not seen them for the last 10 seconds. And we saw an owl go through the area as well. Here it is. So Joanna goes up to the bush to face check it. She has Unstoppable. Should be fine. Does not die. Very fortunate. I am currently entering range. I'm about to enter Molten Core here. Right now, a huge play is about to happen. Hogger goes in on the white main here and figures that he can score a quick kill off the wall here. But he went in solo. He's way ahead of the rest of the team. So this is an engagement mistake in that the Tyrell is over here. The Falstad's not in position. He's taking seed. Tyrande and Alaric are now dispatching in order to help him out. But he's way ahead of the team, and right now he's in the middle of 3 people. So, I see that Tyrande and Alaric are quickly approaching on the Hogger. Rather than me targeting the Hogger that is currently mobile, I am targeting these 2 that are walking in a straight line after this Hogger. Their movement is very predictable. Somebody has initiated. It's my job to come in and see if I can help out. This is what they are thinking. They're not looking at the Hydralisk. They're not looking at their own feet. By the way, this Hydralisk is giving me vision, so this is the real MVP. But they need to get here as quickly as possible, which means they're going to be walking in a straight line with their guard down. And just as they bring down the guard, I instantly eviscerate the Tyrande and gravely wound Alaric. He's now decommissioned from the fight, and he's not going to participate anymore. Falstad goes down, and the Hogger is pushed away from the objective. So as Ragnaros, you always have the opportunity to punish people that might not be paying attention for whatever reason it is. When I went Molten Core, they probably did not think they were in any danger. They thought that maybe I was going to strike the Hogger, but this was not the case. I, in fact, struck both of them when they were on the same pixel rushing to aid the Hogger. This is one of the best things you can do as Ragnaros.
Are you sure this will work?
I have no idea!
Okay, so we're currently on Dragonshire, and we just won the objective. I'm currently in the Dragonites. I'm bashing down this fort here. All that jazz. As Ragnaros, it's important that you commit a little bit more effort when it comes to destroying forts properly. When you bring it down, this gives you opportunities to use your Molten Core on the enemy side of the map on this destroyed fort. And that gives you a lot of possibilities. Generally speaking, on average, your offensive Molten Cores are going to be more valuable than your defensive Molten Cores because of the fact that this can always damage the structures if there's nothing else to do. Whereas on the defensive core, if the enemy team decides to disengage, your Molten Core is used and not much got derived out of it. Maybe you stop the push for the time being, but it's not as good as an offensive Molten Core because you're in for the kill and then you start sieging the enemy forts, you know, and then it just compounds from that point on. So, but that's not the focus of this tip here. Our focus is actually to do with using Molten Core when you use all of your abilities. Ragnaros is a cooldown-oriented hero. Once you spend your combo, there's nothing more in the tank. Here we see that the Arthas is pushed out forward. We gave him the armor shred. We're currently slowing him. He dodges the Tyrande stun. I tried my ultimate. I failed it. Killed the Arthas. And I'm already, as soon as I kill the Arthas, I had eyes on using a Molten Core right now because I knew it's going to use all of my abilities. Chasing after these guys is not going to accomplish anything. So I use Molten Core right here on this fort that I just destroyed. And this should lead into a stun. This is a big mistake. You need to use your explosive rune as soon as the stun connects. Me being late here means only Probius suffers the explosion rather than all 3. We do kill Savants here and Probius. I tried killing the Lily here, but she's just too fast. Had I connected my explosive rune earlier, she'd be dead right now. So you can see what happens when you're a little bit slow to the party with the explosive rune. But yeah, All of my abilities were on cooldown. There's no more left in me to give for the chase, so I just used Molten Core and I used its abilities to secure 2 additional kills. And had I not messed up, it would have been a 3rd extra kill there. This is a Storming game I played yesterday. This one's on Alternate Pass. I had the opportunity to pick Ragnaros on my favorite map here. I think he's really good here, so that's why I picked him. Right now, we're level 20, and we're looking for an opportunity to take a fight. We spot that the enemy team are bot lane, and we can either find a pick here, or we take boss. It's one of the two. And Jaina correctly assesses that the Alarak is missing. The Elemental ends up sniffing out Alarak here, which was clutch. And now, we have the situation here. Alarak is in deep trouble here. If he dies, they take boss, they go bot lane, they probably take mid lane, they end the game. So the enemy team is forced into this uncomfortable position that they must take a fight at a level 20 disadvantage to save this Alarak. If he dies, the game is over. If they all die, well, the game's still over. So this is a fight they have to take. And recognizing this, I recognize how desperate this situation is. Instead of me aiding my team that I go into this narrow choke point, I posture myself aggressively towards this fort so that I have the opportunity to Molten Core it just in case something happens. Because we saw Thrall and Brightwing down here. If Mei is spotted here, we know the majority of the enemy team is down here. In fact, they're literally right outside my vision range here. This means if I Molten Core here, I'm going to have maximum coverage over this entire region, and I'll be able to attack whoever it is I want and cut off their escape. Because when this is Molten Cored, the swing reaches all the way to the wall. So if you're escaping, you must go through the core or you must go through the enemy team. And I'm not sure which is worse. So that is the catch-22 we're about to put them in. If you have level 20 heroic difficulty, you have to be looking for opportunities to use the Molten Core either in the enemy team's face or somewhere that has good enough reach onto them. So we see the Alarak here. Instead of me going to assist, I go over to Molten Core. I find a Brightwing that was phase shifting, so that was very fortunate. If she was not phase shifting, I'd probably get polymorphed here, so that was lucky. And now it's go time. Stun the Alarak. So for a smash right away. Look at the short cooldown of this white stun. Score another 2 kills. It's over. And on the way out that they're trying to escape, they just get hit with multiple combo rotations and they just fall over and die. And now the game is in a winning position where we win the game shortly thereafter of this. So it goes to show how dangerous a flanking Molten Core is. I secure a kill on the Alarak, no problem. And then I kill the rest of the team because they have to funnel through me in order to get through. Very devastating.
You should have gone for the head.
No! My Molten Core! What has the janitor done? Oh my god. Holy dude. This is actually kind of hype. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Okay, this is really cool. Oh my god. We're so back, dude. This is insane! Holy. I cannot make this video again. I'm 1 month deep in this. And that just about wraps it up. Thank you very much for tuning in and going the distance. I could have made this whole video 15 minutes long, but there's no pleasure to be had in that. It's not TheFreind way. It's one thing to show what is possible, it's another for me to explain what I'm focusing on and what course of thoughts led me to take the decision in its first place. I figured this is the best way for you to take home some useful tactics to adopt in your own manner, and besides, I just gotta include some memes so you can stay awake. That's the way things are. If you have any feedback or Molten Core tips of your own, please leave them in the comments below for others to pick up what I missed. Alrighty, my friends. I love you all very much. I will see you next time.